Time keeps on slipping into the future. Somehow the Game Awards have already swung around again for a banger ceremony to close out 2025. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 swept the awards, which also saw big reveals for the likes of Resident Evil Requiem, Hi Leon, the new game from Baldur's Gate 3's Larian Studios, a sequel/spin-off Remedy's Control, and wait a minute, a Star Wars pod racing game and an Old Republic title from former Mass Effect director Casey Hudson? Oh mama, we're gonna have to unpack all the big reveals for you today, talk about our faves and some things you might have missed. So yeah, I'm Ewan, this is What Culture Gaming, and with me today to digest all this news like an eldritch sarlacc pit of content is Culture Dex's Nathan Ellingsworth. How are you doing, Nathan?
Hi, I'm good. I didn't stay up to watch the Game Awards. I had a very fun morning where I just caught all of the news, but I'm very good. What an exciting time for gaming.
Mate, I mean, it's after midnight. That's past my bedtime. I shouldn't be up at them ungodly hours to consume this on a live basis. I put it on at like 12:30. And then I caught a little bit of, I saw the Badger game, which looked like a fun time. And then I think I tuned out literally 2 minutes before the first big announcement, which was Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic, which I did not see coming. I don't think many people saw coming. Nothing was really rumored regarding a new Star Wars title making an appearance at the Game Awards. There might have been a couple of rumblings that maybe would have gotten some more news on Star Wars Jedi Survivor 3, which we know is in the works from Respawn Entertainment. But this is a new, quote-unquote, spiritual successor to Knights of the Old Republic from Casey Hudson, who was, of course, a director on the original Knights of the Old Republic title from BioWare and a key influence on the Mass Effect trilogy. The trailer itself looked super mysterious, giving me all the delicious new Star Wars imagery and vibes that kind of feels like the perfect antidote to what we've been given a lot of from the Disney era over the last several years. But yeah, it's from Hudson's new studio, Acronaut Studios. The CGI trailer shows what appears to be a Jedi Knight zooming around in a mysterious dark part of the galaxy. And there is all sorts to unpack with this announcement because I know a lot of people are probably going to have the emotional whiplash of like, oh yay, a new Star Wars Old Republic game. Oh wait, didn't they already announce like a remake of KOTOR several years ago that we never saw or heard from again, and people keep telling us it's actually being made, but we're all kind of like, And then also Star Wars Eclipse, which is a High Republic game from the Detroit Become Human people, which again feels like it's kind of in limbo. And yeah, to strike a blow against everyone's excitement levels here. This is very, very early in development. Acronaut Studios were only founded a few months ago, so there's a good chance that I might be 40 when this comes out. But initial thoughts, Nathan, what did you think of the announcement for Fate of the Old Republic?
I am very glad you brought up Star Wars Eclipse because it felt very much like that reveal to me, where I'm like, well, this is a lovely idea. Who knows if we'll ever see it? I think they were training in on the infamous name and that sort of... the nerdy side of the Star Wars fan base. This is for the nerds. This is for the filthy nerds. Like, this is so exciting. I know, especially in a world where we've seen Baldur's Gate 3 be so successful. I think, yeah, absolutely. We've proven there's mainstream sort of appeal for the D&D-esque sort of world of Knights of the Old Republic. It's the perfect time for this. I just will need to have it in my hand to be excited.
Yes, well, I mean, I'm going to give you some more delicious bantha fodder to chew on, which will get you even more excited. There was obviously the trailer at the Game Awards, which looked really, really cool, but then there was an additional interview with both Hudson and Douglas Riley, who is the VP and GM of Lucasfilm Games over on StarWars.com. The official synopsis for Fate of the Old Republic is: the fate of the galaxy is in your hands, in a narrative-driven action RPG where you step into the role of a Force user, which I thought was very interesting wording there, on a journey through a galaxy on the edge of rebirth. Blending innovative storytelling, memorable characters, and heart-pounding combat, Star Wars Fate of the Old Republic immerses you in an unforgettable experience where every decision deepens your journey toward light or darkness. So immediately there, they're invoking the mechanics from KOTOR, the idea of playing as Revan and being able to move between the light and the dark. But there are some other additional really juicy quotes here, so I'll get into the interview. Hudson says that, Quote, when we developed the original KOTOR, we wanted to create a definitive Star Wars experience, crafting an adventure that consisted of all things we dreamed of doing as Star Wars fans. Now, 25 years after we started work on that game, our aspirations are equally ambitious. Fate of the Old Republic represents an opportunity to explore a contemporary vision of a definitive Star Wars experience using state-of-the-art technology, yada 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 yada. This is the interesting part. Although Fate of the Old Republic, this is my own words here, is not a direct sequel or continuation of KOTOR, Riley says here that it is being built by people who shaped that legacy. Throughout my 2 decades of working on Star Wars games, including the Old Republic, I've been fortunate enough to see firsthand just how much these stories mean to our fans. For us, this new project is about honoring that legacy by creating something in the same tradition of a deep cinematic choice-driven role-playing game. After directing the original and beloved game, Hudson was eager to return to the galaxy, creating a new expression in the tradition of KOTOR. And there's other stuff here, basically saying that Lucasfilm Games was eager to tell a new story in a new era with lots of possibilities. The quote here from Riley is that Star Wars' past is a vast open canvas for creators to explore without having to navigate storytelling touchstones from other media. Being set in the past gives us an immense amount of open space to tell new, original Star Wars stories, while staying true to the spirit of the galaxy we all love. There are, quite literally, infinite stories to tell. While we will always honor and celebrate the core saga, it's crucial to explore new territory, meet new characters, and see new parts of the galaxy. Now, Nathan, as a fellow Star Wars dingus, this to me feels like it's basically them tacitly saying that this is actually canon and it's not going to be in the Legends continuity. The fact that they're talking about the real estate that the past affords them to explore and take the game in different directions, that wouldn't be something they'd be worrying about with a Legends title. And we already know that the High Republic kind of, has constricted the scope of what an Old Republic game could potentially do, but that in itself, that challenge provides an idea, or a way of being even more creative and being even more abstract and really forging a new era of the galaxy. And for me, as someone who loves it when Star Wars goes into the weird, goes into, takes a left field turn, develops a new aesthetic in the mold of like the prequels and Knights of the Old Republic, this is very, very exciting. And, obviously the KOTOR game remake might come out, we don't know, but the fact is, I think that, well, no, it's not a fact, but my opinion is it's a factual opinion in the sense that it's my own. It does feel like this is kind of leading more towards the direction of being an actual canon story, which is really exciting. Yeah,
I mean, I think the way that Disney now deals with Star Wars media is I think everything is ideally meant to be in canon. Even when, obviously that cursed section of between New Hope and Empire Strikes Back or whatever, even if we get stuff in there, I think Jedi Fallen Order did a really good job, and Jedi Survivor of, okay, so Cal Kestis, he could have existed in this time period, and they made it work so seamlessly that people are even going, oh, he could pop up in the shows. It is meant to be this interwoven universe, and it's something that I think is good when it works, and also not it doesn't quite work as well when I'm having to see Star Wars Rebels characters pop up for God knows how many times. But I really like the idea of this being so far away, obviously absolutely not beholden to anything. Who knows how actually far away we go, or whether it's going to be the exact same planets again. I don't think we're going to be in the Outer Rim, but I do just want to see completely new worlds, completely new characters, and as they say, sort of touchstones of the iconography of the Star Wars universe and the things, the rules that make it interesting, but just go, also, you have never met these people, there's no Plagueis pulling the strings, this is just a completely new story. That is so exciting to me, and if it means that it's not a direct sequel to Knights of the Old Republic or anything like that, that's fine, because I think that is ultimately the best narrative decision you can make, and importantly, it's probably the best business decision they can make. There's no point making a Knights of the Old Republic 3, because as soon as you put a number on a game, then it limits the fan base, and even the people who love those games, not everyone finished them. These are big games with multiple different avenues and stuff like that. Just clean break, take that sort of world, take the talent, and go, cool, a new modern story, I think is the smartest and most exciting thing they could do.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited for this. Again, I think it's what Star Wars needs. We need new, fresh ideas like this, which again is ironic given that Hudson was involved with KOTOR like 20 years old, and the idea of the Old Republic is now quite old and storied, but in the context of the new canon, again, we're going to see, the trailer already showed off so many new shapes and angles and aesthetics within that kind of frame of Star Wars. So again, that's what I want. I'm really looking forward to it. And this isn't the only Star Wars that we got hit with for the Game Awards. And this is, I was very, very excited about this one because not only is it tangible, it's got gameplay, it's got everything, it's actually coming. It's also a Star Wars video game that I have been personally like flying the flag for so long now to actually get made. And that is Star Wars Galactic Racer, a new game from Fuse Studios, which was founded by former leads from Criterion, the people behind Need for Speed, and Criterion also memorably chipped in on Star Wars Battlefront 2, the EA version, for the Starfighter Assault mode, which was fantastic. So this is really, really good news, really exciting. Great to see Star Wars, spinning out into different genres. It's set after Return of the Jedi, so after Episode 6. You'll play as a character called Shade, a, quote, lone racer with a dream of glory and revenge. You'll get to go to Jakku and numerous other planets. Quote, players will learn more about Shade as they progress through the game's campaign. Your aim is to survive long enough to earn your shot at becoming an elite racing pilot. Our races are high-stakes competitions where racers do everything they can to get to the front in the solo campaign and in our awesome multiplayer gameplay. There's a bunch more quotes for you to look at over on StarWars.com. There's really juicy details here. But yeah, Nathan, as a big Phantom Menace guy, I'm overjoyed with this, and also Sebulba. Hell yeah!
It's so funny to see the glib shito meme come to life every single time. But I also popped off for Sebulba. I was exactly the right age for Phantom Menace. I was a young wee lad. So that was my first Star Wars game. The Star Wars Episode 1 Pod Racer game is still so good. And considering Star Wars is pretty happy to, reheat their nachos in terms of Battlefront or many other avenues, I'm so surprised they haven't gone back and gone, let's just do another racer. Let's just do another silly racer. This looks like everything I could want from that. It looks incredible.
Yeah, no, I'm genuinely so pumped for Star Wars going into these different genres. Obviously, Star Wars Starfighter from a few years ago, that was a great time as well, moving into the arcade flight sim kind of like a vibe. And with this, again, it's just giving us a different corner of the galaxy that shows the breadth and scope of the franchise and the creativity that we know it can bring when it's at its best. And yeah, I'm just really excited to get my pod racing on. And I really, really hope, I have two big requests for this. One, I hope we see the Rats Tyrell family come through the other side of his awful death in the Phantom Menace. And two, I really hope they get Greg Proops back to voice Foden Bede.
Oh my god.
And have like proper commentary, because I would love that. And also, for the Whose Line Is It Anyway faithful among us, I think that would be a great little bonus.
Yeah, he does the voiceover for a very old Wii game called Mad World as well. So he's got props. He's been in video games before, and it adds a lot to that game. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we're getting the deep Star Wars pulls going here. The next big announcement that we got from the Game Awards last night was in the form of Tomb Raider. We got two big Tomb Raider reveals. One is a new game, Tomb Raider Catalyst, and the other is a quote-unquote reimagining of Tomb Raider 1 called Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. Both of these look really, really interesting. I'm not a huge Tomb Raider person, but totally am down for more Lara Croft because this looks really fun. There's a lot of sense of adventure about it. The trailer for Cataclysm was basically, just like a story trailer with a few brief snippets of potential gameplay. The synopsis is that it's set in the wake of a mythical cataclysm that has unleashed ancient secrets and awakened the mysterious forces that guard them. When the most notorious treasure hunters from around the world descend on the region, Lara races to uncover the truth buried beneath the fractured landscape and stop those who would use its power for their own gain. As the ancient world collides with the present, Lara must decide who to trust among rivals and allies to prevent a catastrophe and protect a secret that could reshape the future. Lots of big, scary, ominous things occurring in the world of Tomb Raider. Nathan, how do you feel about the trailers for these two games?
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm a huge Tomb Raider fan. I was a big Tomb Raider on the PS1 fan as a kid, grew up with it, and then that sort of morphed into the Uncharted series, and then we got the Square Enix Crystal Dynamics sort of reboot, which I very recently replayed on Nintendo Switch 2 as well, which reminded me how much I love those games. I'm so happy to see this team back and to see that progression of this version of Lara Croft. I don't know how many versions of Tomb Raider 1 we need, because we've got Tomb Raider Anniversary, we've got the recent remasters, and now we've got another version. I get it, it's this mythical game, and it looks great, I've got like all the nods, but I'm way more excited about a new step, which I do think is also probably why they went, we're doing a remake, but also there's something new coming. It's probably very smart of them to be like, hey, don't worry, there is a fresh sort of story coming. But yeah, I think it looks great. I'm really excited just to see more Tomb Raider in the world. I love Tomb Raider, I love Uncharted, and we're only getting one of those franchises at the moment, so more Tomb Raider it is.
Absolutely. The next game here for my personal reveal of the night, I think, is Control Resonant. I love the role that Remedy are on right now. All the way back to the first Control, and then doing Alan Wake 2, and now we've got the Max Payne remakes coming, and now we have Control Resonant, which is not described as a full sequel to Control, but a sort of spin-off, starring Jesse's younger brother Dylan. And the super cool, and again, this really exemplifies why Remedy are such a beloved studio. Rather than going from the same gameplay well and making this, another shooter, they've made it a hack and slash melee game, where instead of the transforming handgun that you had in the first Control, Dylan now gets a really cool melee weapon that can transform into swords and knives and big old hammers and everything. And yeah, it shows lots of really cool hack and slash goodness, and it's set to release on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC next year. 2026 is shaping up to be really stat. It's shaping up to be a huge year for the video games.
Yeah, I love Control so much. I haven't played Alan Wake, so I'm not part of the greater Remedy verse. But Control is a really good sort of almost Metroidvania-esque. This Twin Peaks and so many other incredible sort of sci-fi and weird things pulling in. It's just got immaculate vibes, and I absolutely agree that I think it's interesting that you haven't gone, let's make the same mechanics again. They've gone, actually the world itself is the greater sort of asset here, so let's tell a different story with different mechanics within that. I think that's a great idea, and Remedy have very clearly proven that they can pull off different avenues, different ideas within this greater world. So I'm really excited for this, and who knows what else it could be hiding.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to run through a couple of the other big announcements now. We got a new trailer, for Divinity Original Sin from Larian, which is the new game that was being teased with Jeff's weird statue in the Mojave Desert. Looks very goopy, very fun. Obviously, in the wake of Baldur's Gate 3, we're all going to be paying huge attention to what Larian have cooking up next. We got a announcement for Mega Man Override, some new stuff for the Street Fighter movie, which again looks like a hoot. Total War Warhammer 40k, a new trailer, a new look at No Law, which is the new cyberpunky looking game from the people behind The Ascent. Ace Combat 8, which I'm really excited about because I love that series. I love arcade, flight combat games. Really hyped for that one. Out of Words, which looks really super interesting, and a whole bunch of others that I would encourage you all to go and check out in your own time. We just kind of wanted to go through the big juicy hot tamales for this one. And yeah, Nathan, overall thoughts on the Game Awards this year? Obviously, we didn't stay up to watch it, but in terms of winners and announcements, the only thing that I'm kind of bummed that we haven't gotten is a PlayStation release date for Hades 2.
I mean, I'm very happy playing that on my Switch at the moment, my Switch 2. So I don't think I'm. No, I was hoping for a Switch 2 port of Clair Obscur as well, but I imagine that that's probably down the line. But I'm really happy. It's really nice to see Clair Obscur get its flowers. It was pretty much always nailed on. That first wave of hype has never really died down, and even some challengers like Death Stranding and other options have sort of nudged at the idea of there being a Clair Obscur suite, but nobody's taken it down. And it's not that it's a year lacking in talent. In fact, it's just a testament to how wonderful Clair Obscur is. So God, I'm happy to see that team rewarded for taking some risks and doing something different. Also, in terms of announcements, I don't think we got any sort of megatons. I know people were going, Half-Life 3, this is going to be it. No, that's not what this is about. And also, Valve would just announce Half-Life 3 on their own. They don't need anybody else. So there wasn't anything really groundbreaking, but I think instead what we got was some really, really nice surprises. And I think Fate of the Old Republic is one of those, in terms of like, people wouldn't have guessed that. And even Control having a sequel, semi-sequel, that sort of we knew was happening, but it doing different things. Yeah, just lots of really, really pleasant surprises. If you went in going, I want this, this, and this, you might be disappointed. But in terms of just accepting what you were given and going, wow, gaming's looking pretty good for next year, I think this is one of the best Game Awards shows I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I'm super pleased overall. I think my little Star Wars nerd heart is completely fulfilled just seeing a bearded Sebulba on screen, and the idea of being able to play like a full Galaxy pod racing game. I'm so excited, Nathan. I'm so pumped. This is great. Again, 2026, we've got so many great games to come forward. We've got like Marvel's Wolverine is another big one. Again, it didn't make an appearance yesterday, but let us know all your favorite announcements from the Game Awards last night. Anything you wish showed up that didn't, and also how you felt about the show this year. Really curious to hear your thoughts. Let us know down there. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to What Culture Gaming for more tasty news discussions like this every single day. Either way, I've been Ewan. Thank you for watching. This was Nathan. Go check out Culture Dex if you haven't already, if you're a big Pokemon person. And yeah, we'll see you next time.